everyone. I'm Monica Clavijo, and welcome to another episode of the Bear Experiment podcast. Today's guest is living proof that when you listen to your soul's calling, you can change everything. At just 29 years old, DAJA left the busy streets of Atlanta, Georgia, for the lush, untamed jungles of Costa Rica, trading city lights for starlit skies and building her own off grid cabin from the ground up. Her journey is one of courage, spiritual awakening, and choosing peace over pressure. Now pregnant with her first child, Deja's story is as much about embracing the unknown as it is about finding deep inner freedom. From navigating life in a new country, connecting with the local community, and hosting her upcoming Liberated Love Retreat, to healing her inner child and exploring the power of plant medicine. This is a conversation about what it truly means to live in alignment with your higher self. So settle in because you're about to hear how a woman walked away from everything she knew, stepped into the wild, and finally found herself. I also want to thank you all for subscribing to our YouTube channel and hitting the notification bell so that you never miss an amazing episode with all of the amazing guests that continue coming on our show, sharing all of their stories to help us elevate. Now let's dive in. Recording. How are you, Deja, right?
Yes, Deja.
Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Yes, thanks for reaching out. It's no problem at all.
Um, Hold on, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And so I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so where is she gonna go? Where does she have Wi-Fi?
Well, I'm actually in the States right now visiting my sisters.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you're in
hmm
Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta.
Nice, nice. Okay, so you ready?
I'm ready when you are.
All right, so we're recording here. Okay, so I gave you a solo introduction already, and I'll be adding it to the podcast. So let's just dive in. So what was your motivation for leaving Atlanta to the rural areas of Costa Rica?
Yes, well, I actually came here right when I graduated college. And while I was in college, I did like a volunteer program in Costa Rica for spring break.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I had heard about Costa Rica from some people. I was kind of interested in it. Like, I studied Spanish, and I remember I had a friend in one of my Spanish classes that had studied abroad in Costa Rica. And when she came back, she was just talking about how beautiful it was, and she was talking about waterfalls and going zip lining through clouds. And it was just like so inspirational for me. It really stuck with me. And from there, I was like, I want to travel there someday. I was interested in travel and exploring other parts of the world. So that really like sparked my interest in that country. And then I looked deeper into it, made some connections, and I moved there like 2 weeks after I graduated college.
So how old were you when you left the US?
I was 21 at the time.
Okay, wow, that's courageous, you know. To
Yeah,
go
I
to
guess
to go
so.
to like foreign land. Did you speak Spanish at all, or were you learning how to speak Spanish at the time?
I knew a good bit of Spanish because I was studying it in college. So I
Okay.
didn't speak fluently at all, but I had a very good foundation.
You understood. You were able to communicate, which is what's important.
Exactly.
So I understand that you ended up purchasing land, which is where you currently live when you're in Costa Rica.
hmm
So walk me through that. Like, how do you even start there? Never being in that country, how do you choose a realtor in Costa Rica in a foreign country that's going to show you land and that you're going to trust them? Did you have somebody guiding you that you already knew that was an American that was there?
Yeah, this is a good question. I didn't have a realtor per se. Things are pretty chill in Costa Rica, to be honest. It's very common for foreigners to come and to purchase land. There's right now like no laws against it. So even without being a resident, so just with your tourist visa, you can go there and you can purchase land. The most important part is doing it through a lawyer. But I lived in Costa Rica for a long time before I got land. I didn't know right away that that
Right.
was my destiny. I just was enjoying myself. I wanted to still travel to different parts of the world, but I actually met two women from Chicago who I did a retreat with. They host retreats like I
Hmm.
do, and they had property. So meeting them, and they're also Black women like myself. So like meeting them, I was like, That's an option. Like I didn't even it didn't even dawn on me before then that I could even purchase land. It wasn't really on my radar. I was just happy to be in Costa Rica. Rent is super cheap there, so I was just enjoying myself. But when I met them, I was really, really inspired because I saw like once you purchase land, it's always yours.
Right.
And that really resonated with me.
Isn't it beautiful how the universe nudges at you sometimes when you least expect it, something that you weren't even thinking about, and now you're so happy?
Exactly. And that's how it always is. You're just living life, following your heart, doing what you love or whatever. And along the way, different things come up. So you can't really plan for everything. So I wasn't planning to get land. Once I met them, I was inspired. I started to kind of look into it. And it was like a connection thing. It's all through like human connections. That's the greatest resource. So, I moved to Costa Rica years ago and I worked this job. And I met this Costa Rican guy who was actually then later married one of my friends who was also American. So I was really good friends with him. And when he found out that I moved to the town that I have my land in, he was like, "Oh my God, my dad goes there every year. He has a lot of close friends down there. He can help you find land." So then I messaged his dad, and then his dad connects me to another guy. So it was like one of those things, a friend of a friend of a friend. And then this guy, just local guy who lives around, he doesn't even have a car. He rides around on a bicycle. He just knows everybody and he knows who's selling land. So I connected with him and he helped me search. I looked at several different properties with him over the course of maybe a year, seeing one or two each month. And then through him is how I found the property that I ultimately purchased.
And that how big is the land that you purchased?
It's 2 acres.
Okay, well, that's huge.
Yeah,
That's a
it's pretty
lot of land.
big.
So did it already have the cabin, even though you had to restore it? Did it have something already for you to start building on, or did you have to start from scratch?
There was nothing there.
You're kidding.
There was nothing there. Most of the land is forest, and the part of the land that's cleared where I have my cabin now was actually a cow field.
Okay.
And the guy I bought it from has had that land for like 40 years and it's always been a cow field. So there's never been any structures on the land before now.
So then you just, when you bought it, what you got help, people just helping you, offering their services. Did you have to pay them? Did they do it for free? Were they friends? How do you even start doing that? How do you make the decision to live in the middle of the jungle by yourself as a female? Like that alone is like, girl, you have balls of steel.
Yes, people always say this, especially the living alone part as a woman, but Costa Rica is an extremely safe country. It's not known for violent crimes or anything like that. People are very friendly. So when you have experience like I did, of course, years of experience before moving to my farm, I already felt very safe.
Right. Because you were
I
there
never
already
had
for
any like bad interactions, like being robbed or something like that. So I really didn't have any skepticism. I didn't plan to live on the land right away. It just worked out like that. I just kind of had this deep, like, kind of spiritual call to be like, it's just time. It's time. When I was ready, I went. When I first went there, I actually went and just camped out in my tent at first, just to for a few days to kind of feel the land, see what it was like. And that too showed me just how safe I was. There was a lot of noises at night. I can't lie. I
right.
was a little scared at
The
first.
insects, there's snakes, right?
There's
Like
animals that walk around, so
that's
you
gotta
hear
be
things.
creepy.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little creepy. I was a little scared at first, but then I hired like a local guy who lived on the street. He's since moved, but he just lived on the street, and he's just a local. Like in Costa Rica, in rural towns, like all the guys kind of build stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know how to like build
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I just hired this guy. I would pay him like $20 a day, and he would just help me to put up this basic kind of structure. I used wood from the land, so there were some fallen trees that we cut up, and we used a lot of that to build the initial cabin. Got big plastic to make a plastic roof,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just slept in my tent under this plastic roof in the beginning. I was alone briefly, but then I had actually two friends stay with me. For one of them stayed for a month, and the other one stayed for like 2 weeks. So two other women. One was from France and one from the States. So I wasn't alone all the time in the very beginning.
What was it like for you adjusting from the city conveniences that you had? to living on farmland for the first time in your life, what kind of lessons were you learning? Was there a spiritual, intuitive connection to the land that you felt right away, where you were like, this is it, this is where I'm supposed to be right now?
For sure, for sure. When I first visited the land, once we walked onto the property, because there's a lot of trees along the road, so you can't really see it until you pass these trees. So once I like kind of emerged through those trees and I saw it's like a
Yeah,
hillside, so I'm like at the top of the hill. I was like, yes, I just felt a strong sense of yes in my body. There was a spiritual connection. And then we walked the land. You go down the hill, kind of into the forest area. There's water on the land.
right.
It's so beautiful. And it just felt right. Everything about it felt right. I had actually really, really wanted to buy another property, but it was just a little bit too expensive for me. So this was like the next one I looked at, but my heart was set on the first one.
Yeah.
But the moment I saw this one, plus it was literally half the price, same amount of land, and I thought it even looked better. So I was like, wow, I'm so glad that I stayed open because I believe this is the place that's for me.
And what
And
what were the differences that the other one was the other one also just land, or did that one have a place to actually be able to live in?
no, the other one was also just land. All the things I looked at were just raw land. I
Okay.
wanted to start from zero for sure. And it's a lot cheaper to buy raw land than to buy something with a house already built. So the difference with the first one that I really loved was it's a little further away, a little bit less accessible, like further
Hmm.
away from the main road, in a place where there's really no service, really.
Right.
Like you can't really get a data connection on your phone. And the issue with the first land was there was no water on it. And there were some neighbors who kind of like had some problems with the guy who was selling it. I guess there was some kind of dispute
Yeah.
about a part of the land that they felt like was a part of their land, and that dispute also kind of turned me off to that property. But it was really close by to some of my friends, so that's why I really liked it as well.
Right. Of course.
But the one I have now, what I love about it is it's very dynamic. I have the hill, I have the forest, I have the water. So I really preferred the one that I got.
So what was it like leaving the comfort of living in the big city to living on to sleeping in a tent?
Yeah.
Like
Well, I
you
would
don't
go,
even you have no electricity, so how do you entertain yourself at night when it's pitch black?
I sleep. I sleep
With the
early, like,
with the noises outside from the
yeah.
creatures and
Literally. Well, because I lived in Costa Rica before, I wasn't really living in a big city. I kind of got more and more like progressively rural during my
Mhm.
journey in Costa Rica. Like I first lived more in a city or like a suburb, and then I moved to this town and I was just living in a small house. It was in the town, so of course it had Wi-Fi and electricity and stuff, but it's a small town,
Mhm.
right? Like it's near the beach. There's chickens. Sometimes there's cows walking down the street. So it already was kind of, you know, preparing me. But the initial move to the land, it was a challenge because yeah, you're just in a tent. You don't have Wi-Fi. There's just nothing. There's just land and you. So I had to move through some fears and I had to get comfortable again. But then every day waking up, the sound like the birds chirping, and like there's just this really crisp moment, like when the sun first rises in Costa Rica, where it's just so gorgeous. And waking up to that every day, and it's so quiet because I didn't have any close neighbors. Now people have bought land near me, so I have more neighbors, but before there were no neighbors right there. So just the quiet, the sound of nature, waking up to that every day, it really reset my nervous system. And I was like, yes, I made the right decision.
Yeah, I was watching with Sadhguru,
Hmm.
who he explains that the natural flow that we should have with our bodies is waking up and going to sleep as the birds and the animals do, because that's what's going to regulate our circadian rhythm within our system. And this is how we get our serotonin and our dopamine levels, like, fully functional, and we're
Hmm.
happy and we're living in peace. And we are doing everything opposite of that, living in the city, right? Like I am from Miami.
Oh yeah.
I relocated to Orlando. It's a little bit quieter, but it's crazy too, right? Like we're right
Hmm.
by all the theme parks and everything, so we have a lot of tourism here. And I definitely can identify with what you're doing. I mean, I don't know if I have the courage to do what you're doing and living out there by myself, but I consider myself a small town girl. You know, there's just like nothing like waking up in the countryside and right the horses and the
Hmm.
chickens. And there's got to be just like a level of peace that comes with that, right? But then I'm
Absolutely.
also seeing that so many people like Costa Rica is the place to move to now. Like everybody now is like, oh, I'm buying some land in Costa Rica. So it's got to be filling up, and you're seeing that you're there.
Yes, yes. Honestly, it's getting to be a little much. There is
Yeah.
gentrification happening in Costa Rica because some people come like me, like we come a little bit naive and we're just like wanting to explore and we fall in love with the place and we eventually get land. But some people are coming and they're just like, freaking millionaires
Right.
who
And they're
come to
just
Costa
there,
Rica.
right, to build
You
some
think two
properties and make
acres
some
is a
money.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you think 2 acres is a lot. People come and buy 100 acres of land.
And I would imagine that's ruining it for all the locals as well, right? With job positions and the contractors that they're utilizing. They pay them probably cents on the dollar and they're milking them for as much as they can. So it's gotta be throwing everything off. But yeah, I see it constantly with, friends and acquaintances where they
Mhm.
have started purchasing land already in Costa Rica and they're doing that. They're building hotels. That's what they're doing, for like
Yeah.
retreats and they're making a fortune doing that.
Totally. And it's kind of saturating the whole place as far as like because tourism is the main business for the locals too. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of foreigners come to Costa Rica and they create opportunities for locals. And to be honest, Costa Ricans are very kind to foreigners. They don't
Okay.
seem to have like I mean, some of them are starting to get to that point of like, all right, you're changing the whole environment because the thing with when a lot of Americans or foreigners move to the same area, that place starts to become very expensive, too expensive for the locals, that same idea of gentrification. And so the locals get displaced and they can no longer afford to live in this town that they've lived in, their entire
Their
life.
entire lives.
So,
Yeah.
but if they come there and they're creating opportunities and they're hiring locals and paying well, it actually does the opposite. It pours a lot of money into the community. So it's just about doing it with integrity
Yeah.
and with love and with, just some awareness of the local people. Also, some people come and they don't even try to learn any Spanish and they don't really integrate with the local people. So they
Right.
kind of have these, gated communities and they have 100 acres. They don't have to interact with anybody. They might let a Costa Rican person like clean their toilet, but they're not
Right.
actually really getting involved with the community. Whereas myself, I spend a lot of time volunteering and doing things in the community, and I'm really close friends with people in my town.
How welcoming, you say that they were very nice. How welcoming were the Costa Ricans, the ticos, like they call them,
Mhm.
right? To you as an African American woman, like how were they with that? Is there any type
Yeah.
of racism that you felt when you were first getting in there? Because you're not, Costa Rican.
Hmm. I would say there's more so colorism than racism. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, the darker you are, the more you will experience racism. I'm a pretty light-skinned black person and I speak Spanish very well.
Right.
So, I'm received pretty well by them. And they have black Costa Ricans as well that are like descendants of Jamaica on the Caribbean coast.
Okay.
So, a lot of times when people meet me, they actually think I might be Costa Rican or I might be like Dominican or something. They kind of think that I might be Latina because I speak Spanish at a very high level. So and also I'm a woman. I think in general, women they're not so skeptical of us.
Right, right. They're more
As far as
accepting of
like,
women.
and I think I give off a pretty good vibe. So I would say people are pretty kind to me. Sometimes there's some ignorance, like asking me if my hair is a wig or like asking me if I'm from Africa, like little ignorant things, but not like just straight up treating me badly.
Right.
But I've noticed that I have friends who are black men who deal with them being really skeptical, not trusting them and kind of giving them dirty looks and different things like that. So I feel like it's easier, of course, being a light-skinned person and also being a woman, I don't have to deal with that as much as other people. But I will say overall Costa Ricans are very kind. You know,
Okay.
it's not like everyone's going to be ignorant or whatever, you
Well, it's
know.
like that. It's like that everywhere for the most part, right?
Right.
And what
You
are
never
some
judge the whole place.
exactly, exactly. And what are some of the cultural differences and shared values that you have found since you've been there?
Well, they care a lot more about nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because, especially in the rural towns, now in the city of Costa Rica, it's super westernized. You know, you can go to McDonald's or Burger King and all they drink is Coca-Cola and all they eat is hamburgers, you
Yeah.
know. So I think that they're a little bit different than a small town like where I live, where people have always lived in a small town. So they've always been surrounded by animals. It's a place where like every day on my farm, hundreds of monkeys are passing through the
Oh my
trees.
God, I love that.
Yeah, so it's and that's so normal to them. So the seeing animals, spending time outside, farming is very common. Agriculture is another like core business that they have down there aside
Hmm.
from tourism. So there's this genuine sense of care for nature and they love that their country is beautiful and they know that that's why people want to do
Of
tourism.
course. Yeah.
So I think that's much higher respect for nature than what I'm used to here in the States, where some people are real nature people in the States, of course, but some people seem to not really care too much for nature.
Let me ask you, and living the way that you're living now in farmland, with the natives there, do you have a certain diet that you eat now, or have you always eaten the same diet?
hmm Well, actually, for a while, when I was first moving to the area I lived in, I became vegan because the women I did a retreat with were plant-based vegans. And I was just, and also I had some experiences like connecting more with animals and feeling some type of way about eating them.
That's what
But
I asked. That's why I asked that, right? I would imagine that that has to play an emotional part with you then, right? Like eating any type of animals.
Well, that was my experience then. And I was vegetarian even before that for a while. So I think I went about 4 years with no meat. But I'm an ex-vegan, ex-vegetarian.
Now you
Actually,
now you do it all.
yeah, I eat whatever I feel called to eat. And honestly, being that I live in a small town, the quality of the meat
Everything
and
is
even the cheese,
organic,
you
right?
can get things that are more local.
Hmm.
Not everything is organic. There's still plenty of like, unhealthy things or some
Hmm.
fast food and stuff like that available in that
But I would
area.
imagine that the accessibility to get anything organic or cleaner, it's going to
hmm
be found there than over here right now, right? Where we have to pay a fortune to get anything organic or clean, not processed.
For sure. And I really love eggs in Costa Rica. It's so easy to get just farm raised chicken eggs.
Yeah.
Everybody has chickens. So
You have chickens?
any neighbor, I don't have chickens because my dogs are murderers and they murder
You have two dogs, right? So how many pets do you
Yes.
have in the land?
How many what?
How many pets do you have? Two dogs?
I
From what
just
I
have two dogs now. I had a cat, but he passed away. But
Oh,
so I had three, but now I just have the two dogs.
okay. And then your dogs would just tear up the chickens if you have them out there?
They have murdered some neighbors' chickens and gotten me into some issues. So I want to have chickens someday. Also, I live alone. So
Mhm.
I'm kind of working my way up to having chickens because it's a responsibility. You know, I do leave sometimes, like now I'm visiting my family in the
Right.
States, and you need full-time people to care for those animals. Like I have someone caring for my dogs, and it would be a lot to be like, can you take care of my
My
dogs and my
chickens,
chickens and my goats,
my
you know?
monkeys.
Exactly. So I'm like, eventually I will, but I haven't felt ready yet to take on that responsibility. And I have to train my dogs to not murder them as well.
Right, right. So, what tips would you have for any Americans that are thinking about moving abroad the way that you did? Is it easy? Is it worth it? And how do you prepare? Like, how did you start preparing for making this your new lifestyle?
Yes, people are constantly asking me this. I actually do help people who want to relocate to Costa Rica. I do like consultations. And my main advice is always to visit the country first, whether it be Costa Rica or some other place. Some people they have kind of this fantasy idea of what it's going to be like. And every place you go to is going to have its challenges. It's going to have its cultural differences. You know, there's a lot of different options in Costa Rica as far as towns to live in. You may move to a town and actually hate it. Just because
Right.
it's physically beautiful doesn't
Right.
mean it's your place. So I recommend to visit and feel it. Feel it in your heart, feel it in your body. You know, some people are a bit overzealous and they buy land before they've even visited Costa Rica. And then they get there, they don't really fit in or they don't really like the culture and they sell that property within a year or two. So
How long do you think
it takes
that
time.
a person should experience sometime in Costa Rica, for example, before moving, for them to really get a feel of the land and the country?
I think if you come for a visit for 2 or 3 weeks, you might be aware of like, okay, I could see myself living here.
Okay.
And then even when you first move here, I don't recommend buying land right away. I recommend at least give yourself 3 to 6 months
Of course.
before even making the decision to buy land. I mean, me, I took years before I made the decision. So it's like there's not so much of a rush. I guess now I will say land is getting more expensive. So I think now people
That's
are
what I'm
feeling a
seeing
little
too.
more, yeah. Land is more expensive and it's only getting more expensive because so many people are relocating to Costa Rica. So I would also recommend looking at other countries that are close by or similar to Costa Rica.
Like which
Just
ones?
haven't been as discovered as Costa Rica. You
So,
probably can
like
find them cheaper.
which ones would you recommend or would you suggest?
Yeah, like I would say look into Guatemala, look into Panama. I don't recommend Nicaragua right now because they're going through a lot of governmental problems, but it is very beautiful, but they have a lot of issues. Mostly a lot of Nicaraguans are moving to Costa Rica actually, but
Okay.
Panama's great. Guatemala's really great. Even Ecuador is really great. Some of these, I mean, there are foreigners living in all these places too,
Of
but they're a little
course.
less popular than Costa Rica right now, but
Yeah.
they're close. They're in Central America.
The role of solitude and nature in your healing, you talk a lot about your inner child healing, that this is a process that you also experienced while you were there, and it's helped you to grow and elevate. What do you feel that part of the solitude, being in nature, made it easier?
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
This is a great question because actually, solitude and being in nature is like it's key to really healing yourself because when you get to a place like you were asking like how do I entertain myself and it's like sometimes when you're healing, it's not about entertaining yourself, it's about sitting with yourself. You know, sitting in a place, sitting in your discomfort and really reflecting on how do I really feel? What's underneath all of this? Because sometimes we've been through things and we don't even take time to process them because we're just in the motions of life, doing so much
Yeah, we
stuff.
don't have time to think
Exactly.
and
Or we're thinking
feel.
so much that we're not thinking about what's really going on, you know? Like we're thinking
Yeah,
about all these outer things
absolutely.
and we're missing out on those inner things.
Did you ever feel in that sense of loneliness? Because I would imagine you have to feel lonely at some point out there by yourself. Did you ever feel depressed?
Well, yes, I went through my times of like feeling sad or feeling lonely, and depression is actually something I battled a lot with during high school. So, spending all this time alone and also time in that discomfort, being on a farm where sometimes things aren't going right, things aren't going my way, living without electricity, living without running water, the extra work that I have to put in, and then being alone, having to do all the work. Sometimes I'm like, "Ugh, what is wrong with me? Why would I choose this
Why
for
would I choose
myself?"
this lifestyle, right?
Yes. So of course there's moments of like sadness or rough patches. But for me, those times are also always a catalyst for me to like just see just how strong I am, just how capable I am. And sometimes I also have to leave, you know. Sometimes I also have to like get myself together, reach out for
Go
help.
visit your sisters
Yes, like
in
now
Atlanta.
I'm really enjoying being in Atlanta with my sisters and even sometimes within Costa Rica like going and doing other things with my friends because it's easy to be alone, of course, but sometimes you have to reach out when you need support.
Do you
And some
find
people have a hard time with that.
do you find it difficult once you start experiencing that level of peace that you have to start integrating with a lot of people again in society where it's kind of like you're on sensory overload then?
I think at first when I was living on the farm, when I would come back to the States, sometimes it would be a bit overwhelming. When I'm hanging out with my friends in Costa Rica, though, they're very peaceful people. They're also big nature lovers and stuff. So it's actually very replenishing to go out and
Hmm.
we go camping. We'll go camp on the beach or in the forest or something, or we'll go on a trip to a different part of Costa Rica. So that's always really fun for me to get out and be social. And then I love then getting back to my farm and being alone again. I enjoy it. And I have pets, so I'm not completely alone. I have some
Right.
companions.
Yeah, that helps, right? The doggies
Yeah.
definitely help. I have
They
pets
they help a
myself.
lot. They really do. Those are my
Yeah.
babies. And
Yeah.
as far as being in the States, the main thing is like dealing with being in the car all the time
The traffic.
and the traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The traffic is
And
like
even in
deadly.
my sister's road rage and being like, "Oh my gosh, this is stressful." But
Yes.
that's why I also have like developed my different, ways of keeping myself calm and taking care of myself. And I also just like I know myself, so I don't overdo it when I get to the States. Like if I need to stay in the house and just
Right. Chill out. Yeah.
then I do. Yeah.
It's funny because I go visit my mother in Miami. I've only been here a year. It's going to be a year, and I came over here with my 15-year-old daughter.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, and I go visit my mom every 2, 3 months. It's not far. It's 3.5 hour drive. And
Hmm.
at first, it was like my buddies would be like, "Hey, let's hang out. Let's go out to dinner." I can't deal with that. Like, I stay in with my mom. I'm like, let me just, I might go do my hair with my hairstylist over there that knows me. But
Hmm.
I just like what you just said. I kind of want to chill with my mom, stay indoors, and because it's so overpopulated there already. It's just like the traffic at any hours. Bump well, Atlanta, Georgia too. It's like you've never seen
Yeah.
traffic till you drive in Atlanta. So that's
No, that's true. And
crazy.
I spent time in Miami. I like Miami. I like Florida too, but definitely, yeah, it's always a lot going on. But the truth is, because I spend such long periods of time in solitude,
Hmm.
in the jungle, for me, it's kind of like opposite. Some people they live in the city and when they're ready to get away, they go to a place like where I live. But
Yeah.
for me, it's the opposite. When I'm ready to get away, it's kind of nice to be around a little
Go.
bit more going on. I live in a super quiet town. There's nothing going on. Unless we make it happen, there's not much happening. So most nights, I'm in bed by 9 p.m. So
Yeah.
when I come back to Atlanta, I will go to some events sometimes here and there and like go out and do stuff. And it's nice because it's such a brief part of my life.
When with the experience that you've had, clearly you're very spiritual, you're connected to the earth, to Mother Earth, right? Have you noticed any awakened spiritual abilities that you've developed, being so close to nature and Mother Earth, where you can really see like you can kind of see the veil lifting a little bit more and check out the other realm and maybe you hear a small whisper when you're in your tent.
Oh my gosh, I don't think you want to talk about the small whispers. I've heard some things on the phone.
Oh, I would die. I would die.
Yeah, so something that I've always been really in tune with is my dreams.
Yes.
Since I was a young child, I always remember my dreams. And I've always had very vivid dreams, sometimes even repetitive dreams, like dreaming of the same place more than once. And since being on the farm, I think that gift has been enhanced. I've had several occasions of just completely dreaming the future. Like I dream something,
And it
I dream that I
happens.
see a person or have a conversation, and then that happens like the next day or within the next few
Almost
days.
like a premonition.
Yeah, like premonition dreams for sure. I have a lot of those and a lot of lucid dreams. So dreams where I'm aware that I'm dreaming and I can like and I've seen myself in dreams like have like healing ceremonies and like go through real healing but within the dream realm. So for me it's mostly the dream realm stuff. Um and then also the connection with nature, having more reverence for plants and animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've always felt a deep connection also with trees since I was a little girl.
Yeah, me
I
too.
feel, yes, so many people have this because I really believe that they are our ancestors in the same way that, like, these bodies, when we're done with them, they carry information and they go back to the earth. So, where does that information go? It goes into the earth. And that's what all of the root systems are connected to. So,
Yeah.
especially older trees, they're carrying so much information. And so, since being on my farm, I connect a lot with the trees on the land. And sometimes I hear like it's not even like I hear it like out loud the way I'm hearing your voice, but like I can sense music from trees, or I can sense different messages coming through from trees, not just in Costa Rica. I feel that here in Georgia as well, but I feel like that has been developed in the last few years a lot more.
I've seen people that they share videos where they're communicating with a tree that they have a connection with, and they tell the tree to come closer, and the tree actually comes and touches their face or come touch my, my
Yeah.
shoulder. And the tree, and I'm just like, is it the wind? Is it the winds that they that they just co-? But I wanna believe that it was the tree that they were communicating with. Why not believe that? It's a beautiful thing. Everything is alive. We choose to think that it's just a tree. It's just there. It's giving us oxygen.
Hmm.
It's living. Let's love it for what it is, right? But I also experienced when I was going through some anxiety moments in my life, I would read that, like, hugging a tree. My daughter calls me
Hmm.
the tree hugger. And I started implementing it when I would walk outside in nature and in nature in the city, right around my neighborhood. And
Hmm.
I actually would go and I would look like a crazy person in the middle of the city hugging a tree. And it did help me. I did feel a sense of ease when I did that. I don't know if it was mental or I don't know if it was the energy from the tree. So I think there's some truth to it based on what I experienced.
Yes, I totally think so. I've seen videos like that too, where like the tree is like touching someone. I've never actually tried to do that, but I never had any doubt about it either. Because even when we're talking about the wind is just another element. It's another like
Correct.
part of who we are, right? Just the same way we have breath, the earth has wind. So even if the wind is assisting the tree in its movement, that's still like this divine connection to nature, nature responding to you. And that's the thing, right? It's like understanding that it's not an inanimate object,
Yeah.
it's a living, breathing
A hundred
being.
percent. A hundred
And it's
percent.
been here longer than us. Most trees, a
And
lot of trees
that's
are
what I
older.
love about it. When I pray in gratitude, I always ask for the experience of a tree, as silly as that sounds, because a tree
Hmm.
is beautiful, it's magnetic, it's strong, it's wise because it's been around for so many years. And I do see that beauty in this object, right? That we see
Hmm.
in nature that we're killing more and more all the time, which is so
Yeah.
sad, you
Hmm.
know. Um but what are we gonna do, right? I definitely think that the way that you have chosen to live your future life is definitely the direction that a lot of people are moving towards because the world is so crazy. So,
Yeah,
and
totally.
and speaking of that, you are gonna be a mama for the first time.
Yes.
How do you feel about
Yes.
that? What are you gonna do? You're gonna live with your kid in the tent?
Actually, this pregnancy, my first pregnancy, has made me feel like super mom mode and like nesting mode.
It always happens.
Yes, I'm finally like, oh my God, I have to get my life together. I
Yeah.
can't just live in a tent anymore.
Well, they did. They've done it for centuries. Yes, you can if you wanted to choose that life.
Of course, but honestly, I've been on my farm for the past 3 years, and in the last year, I've started to feel like, okay, like just some different pulls to like basically make a more solid foundation for myself on the land.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and don't get me wrong, it's been an amazing time. Like, of course, I've talked a lot about the challenges, but at the same time, I have grown so much and I have loved it. And I've had more good days than bad days on the farm. So, and when I got the farm, I had in mind, like, this is going to be mine forever. So, this is going to be my future children's
Yeah.
inheritance. Like, this is for my future children. At the time, I wasn't even with nobody. I wasn't even thinking about having a baby yet, but I was like, someday when that happens. So now being pregnant, it's like, wow, I'm even more grateful that I did that, because it's like my child is not even born yet and they already have an inheritance. Like that's the greatest gift I could possibly give to him or her. And yeah, so right now I'm in deep planning mode. So actually the cabin I've been living in, it's been really falling apart. I've been having a lot of issues with it. Just because like it's raw wood. So it's got ants and termites living in the wood. Some of the wood is broken now and the roof pieces. So my plan is actually to tear down the current cabin, And then build a house, like a solid house that I don't have to worry about
Like
falling
concrete,
over.
like a concrete house. Yeah.
Exactly, a concrete house, which is most common in Costa Rica because we also have intense tropical storms, intense weather.
Of
So
course.
wood doesn't last very well. And so, yeah, that's my plan. Right now, I actually have a GoFundMe going, and
I
I'm
know
also working.
we're definitely gonna add all that how people can reach you for your I want to talk about that your retreats, how they can reach you if they need any information because they're planning on moving, abroad and you can help them as well. And your GoFundMe for your home and your baby. Yes, absolutely. We're
Yes.
gonna put all that out there so that we can all help you.
Yes, and that's just been what I've been up to lately, has been just saving and fundraising to build this house. And my goal, as a very spiritual, earthly connected woman, I've always wanted to do home birth. And ideally, I will give birth on this piece of land, like ideally, that's my ultimate goal. So, for the next few months, even while I'm here in the States, I'm working and doing some things. And then I'm going to be spending the next few months when I get back to Costa Rica just focused on building so that ideally the house is done in time for me to pop this baby out right
What
there on the end.
have you contacted any local like midwives that you would consider for that, or how would you do that?
So actually, I'm not contacting a midwife. My best friend, we've known each other since college. She has 3 kids. She's done 2 home births and is learning about how to be a doula. So I'm doing a bit of what's called a wild pregnancy, where you don't really get a lot of medical intervention. You only get it if it's really, really necessary or
Right.
if there's an emergency.
Complication.
But other than that, I'm just nourishing my body,
Of
taking care of
course.
myself. And she is my person, like my birth assistant, who's going to come to Costa Rica and be there with me through the labor and all of those things. And again, if there's an emergency, I have access to go to a hospital.
Right.
But ideally, I'm doing it at home.
Hey, DAJA, women have been doing this for centuries and centuries. There's no reason why you can't do it also, right?
Yes. I'm very excited. And you said you're a mom
I'm a
too.
mama. Mine's gonna be 15. Today's the first day of school. She's a sophomore. Uh in high school here. This is our second year in Orlando, so she's been sleeping all summer long. That's what happens with teenagers. And today I don't think she slept last night, so I'm sure she's going to come home, eat something, and go straight to sleep. But I'm a single mom. It's cool. It's a lot of work at times, but at the same time the reward that you get back just from having this little person that you know, you have to always remember if there's something that I try to remember for myself is because you tend to become very like, this is mine, this is my child, right? It's
hmm
not your child. Right? This is
Mm.
the world, the universe's child. You got to train them, you got to educate them, as best you can, whatever you can, provide for them and let them kind of shine once they become of age. And I hope I can accomplish that as she graduates high school. So, but
Yes,
yeah,
I'm sure you're doing a great job.
it's cool. It's cool. It's cool having a little buddy. It's cool having a little
I
buddy around
love
all the time.
that. I'm
Yeah.
excited for that as well. I'm really, really excited for it. And I'm not checking the gender, but I have had several dreams of a girl. So
Yeah.
I do kind of think I'm going to end up being a girl mom like you. Fingers crossed. Let's hope so. I would love a boy
Can I
too.
tell you? I'm getting girl vibes. I'm getting girl
Yeah.
vibes talking to you big time. Yes, I could
Yeah.
see a little girl. I can.
And
Girl,
so many moms are saying that to me, even
well,
like,
they say it's something like with the way you carry. Like if you carry, I think it's if you carry low, it's a boy. If you carry in kind of in the middle, it's a girl. Are you
people
sick?
say that.
Are you sick all the time?
I haven't been sick that bad. In the first trimester, I was exhausted.
Yes, me too, girl. I would
I
fall
was
asleep in the
exhausted.
car.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough sleep, but I wasn't really throwing up.
Me neither. Yeah.
I wasn't throwing up, but I like thank God. But I was feeling sometimes like a little nauseous or
Yeah.
like sometimes I didn't really want to eat because I was like I don't have a taste for anything.
Yeah.
But now I'm in the second trimester. I'm halfway through. I'm 20 weeks, so I
Yeah.
actually feel super energized. But
You look
my belly
great.
is more round and it's kind of in the middle, so
It's a
that's why
girl.
women keep saying they think it's a girl.
We're
Yeah.
calling it. We're calling it right now. It's a girl.
And it would be so hilarious if for some reason, by some odd twist of fate that it comes out a boy, then it'll just be funny to tell him all the time how everyone thought he was gonna be a girl.
Well, that happened with my brother.
Really?
The doctors told my mother that he was going to be a girl, and my mother was a seamstress, and he left the hospital in this beautiful blue baby blue dress.
That is so funny. No,
Thank
even
God
now,
she did a blue dress. She had one of those, but he left the hospital in a beautiful baby blue dress.
that is hilarious. I haven't bought any dresses though. All the stuff I'm getting for baby and putting on my registry has been onesies, all
Yeah.
neutral colors, because I'm like, let's not gender the baby right now. Let's just get some stuff that's
I
gonna
like
cover him.
I like that though, like getting the whole surprise
Mhm.
the day of. Again, you're a much stronger woman than I am because I don't know if I would have been able to like not peek when they're doing like any type of ultrasounds or just checking up to make sure the baby's okay. I would definitely, I think, I don't know. But I like the idea of it's like, oh, here, it's a girl, you know? If
Yeah.
you
And
can, it,
honestly, it's something I've thought about since I was young. Like since being in like high school or college, I heard about, of course you can find out the gender, but how some moms will wait for a surprise. And I'm like, I want a surprise. There's so
yeah,
few surprises in
it's
life.
cute for
But it's
sure.
funny, even though I want a surprise, I feel like the baby's been coming to me in my dreams. And I told you, I dream the future a lot. So I keep dreaming about a baby girl. And I'm like, she might just be showing me on her own,
That's so
like without the doctor
cute.
telling me.
I love that. Do you have names picked out?
I only have one or two names that I've thought of, and to be honest, it just doesn't feel like a strong enough pull yet. I'm
Hmm.
waiting. I think once I'm bigger and once me and the baby are more connected,
Yeah.
maybe I'll feel a name.
Hmm.
How was it for you? When did you name your daughter?
Oh no, it wasn't anything spiritual. I kind of got like my goddaughter's name that I helped name years before and I liked it, Sydney.
Hmm.
And I was like, we're going with Sydney.
Oh my gosh, that's your daughter's name.
Yeah,
That is
Sydney
my.
Sydney Jolie
Hmm.
because I wanted to be Angelina Jolie back in the day. No, I thought she was gorgeous and I liked the name. So Sydney Jolie. So I was like, okay, maybe she's
I
a movie
love
star.
it.
And it's kind of a stage name, you know. She's either going to be a movie star or I don't know, maybe a famous scientist, something, hopefully.
Jolie is a really pretty name. I never thought to put that as like a first or second name. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever heard it besides Angelina Jolie. So I think
Well,
that's awesome.
I believe Jolie is her middle name.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Her
didn't
last
know
name
that.
is Voigt. Voigt. Her father's name. Yeah. But she got in a fight with her father. She doesn't talk to him anymore. Got rid of the last name. Jolie's her middle name,
Oh, good to know.
which means pretty in French.
Oh my gosh, that is
Yeah.
so cute. That's
Mm-hmm.
a really good name. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I
So
love it. And it's so ironic because actually the father of my child, his name is Sydney.
how funny. Yeah, you see
Small world. Yeah.
synchronicities of the world. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Did you meet him in Costa Rica also?
No, I actually met him, these days we meet everybody online. I met him on Instagram.
Oh,
But
cool.
he's Kenyan. He's from Kenya, so
Mm-hmm.
we had been friends for a while, and he does like spiritual work and retreats and ceremonies as well. So I went to meet him and I visited Kenya for 2 months and I left pregnant. So that's
Isn't
that's
that
that.
fun? You had fun in Kenya
I,
then.
I did a very unplanned, but it was fun. It was a very lovely experience, honestly, being there. I really enjoyed Kenya. I considered relocating there, but it was gonna just be a little too much, especially because I have my dogs, and I was like, I can't leave them, and I can't take them that far away. So, and of course, I have the farm, so that all.
Have you traveled abroad to a lot of different countries in your search for for farmland and peace?
I've traveled a lot, actually. Costa Rica was one of the first places I went. I think it's the third country I ever visited. I went to Spain, I went to Mexico, I went to Costa Rica. Those were my first three.
Okay.
But I traveled quite a bit. I actually briefly left Costa Rica in 2018. I went to Spain for a whole year,
Mm-hmm.
and I have my master's degree from a university in Madrid. It was
Nice.
just a 1 year program, so I decided to do it, and then I didn't love Europe, so I came right back to Costa Rica. Um, but while I was in Spain, I visited all over Europe. It's so easy to travel in Europe. It's so like small and convenient. So I've been to like Germany, Austria, Portugal,
That's
France,
awesome.
Italy, Amsterdam. So I'm pretty familiar. And then my best friend who I mentioned, she had a similar story to me in that, well, she's married though. Her husband is from Ghana. They met
Okay.
online. She went to see him, got pregnant right away, but now they have three kids together and they're back living here in Georgia. But I went to visit them when she had her first daughter in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been there as well. So I've been to the African continent before going to Kenya.
Very cool. Very cool. And is he over there now?
Yes, yes. The father of my child, he's still there because he kind of has a whole life there.
Mm-hmm.
He really wanted me to move there, which I considered, but I couldn't feel it. I was like, I really would rather be on my farm in Costa Rica. And it's a huge, huge, like difference and
Yeah.
physical distance.
Mm-hmm.
So he's involved, but just as much as he can be over the phone.
Listen, girl, I didn't know I was pregnant for 3 months. So
Really?
yeah, all the girls at work were getting their period at the same time. And by the third time, I was like, there's something, there's,
Oh my
there's
goodness.
something wrong here. I need to go to the doctor.
I'm always shocked when people don't know right
I
away
did not
because
know because I didn't have any symptoms other than not getting my
right,
period.
right.
And
But
I
even
was, and
something you
clearly I wasn't paying
feel.
attention to that. No, because
Yeah.
I am one of those girls that doesn't pay attention when their menstrual cycle comes every month. And
Oh no, mine is like clockwork.
yeah, well now I after that I started really paying attention. But
I
yeah,
bet.
I went and I took a pregnancy test and I was getting dressed. I had to go to work and I was like, let me do it real quick. 15 minutes later, I grabbed it. It said positive, and I was like, no. You know how they come in two? I got the other one
Yeah.
right there, and I'm just like staring at it. And I was pregnant,
Oh my
and I had no
gosh.
idea I was pregnant. And yeah, she's here, and it's been. Listen, I was scared, and it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made, right? Like, or that's
I'm
ever
so
happened to me
happy.
because I didn't make the decision. It kind of
Right.
it kind of
I'm
came to
happy
me.
for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's really like it's really surreal. You know, this is my first time ever being pregnant, so it's like it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around. I think I haven't it hasn't fully settled in for me.
yeah, it takes a minute.
I'm like about 5 months, but yeah, I
It's
can
gonna
only
settle
imagine.
in. It's gonna settle in when you have a baby on top of you. That's when it's gonna settle
Exactly.
in. It seems surreal until the baby comes out.
Exactly. But it's exciting, so
One
yeah.
one thing that I did want to ask you about, I know that you have retreats that you hold on your farmland, and
Mhm.
you have one coming up now in November. You want to share a little bit about what you do there? I've seen the pictures with a bunch of girls on the beach and hiking and in the
Yeah.
river and doing mud masks. I'm like, yes, this is what I like.
Yes, this is one of the things that I love to do. It's what I've been doing even since before I had my farm. I started hosting inner child healing retreats with
Hmm.
mostly with women. I've had also couples come, and a few men come, but mostly I do women's retreats. And yeah, they're all just about helping people to heal using the things that I've learned in my experience and also utilizing the environments. Because, like I said, nature is a catalyst for healing. So, I'm actually co hosting a retreat in November. It's not on my farm because my farm, there's a house that needs to be built. So, it's actually on the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica, which is beautiful. It's a very cultured part of Costa Rica, very similar to my area in that it's beach jungle. You know, it's where the jungle meets the beach.
Beautiful. I love that.
So it's really gorgeous. Also, lots of monkeys, animals. You know, a lot of
You
people.
have a lot of wild horses out there.
Not so many wild horses. There's a lot of horses though.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People mostly things have been like separated now. So like the horses like live on certain farms and things like that.
Stables and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, but so yeah, I'm working with two other women. They're actually both mothers. And their names are Estonia and Diana. And Estonia, I'm friends with. She has lived in Costa Rica for many years as well, so I've met her a few times in person. Diana, I have not met in person, but I've been following her for years because they're just women who do healing work. Diana is really experienced with giving mushroom ceremonies
Mm-hmm.
and doing different types of healing work, specifically with women and ancestral remembrance. In Estonia, she's like a fire dancer. She does inner child healing as well. and just like embodiment and movement activations for women. So
What is inner child healing? Like if you can give us kind of just like a basic idea of what you do there.
yeah, so for me, my focus is inner child's work, which is basically like now we're all adults, right? But we have the inner child. So the part of us that we developed when we were young, right? So you never really let that part go. Just like, for example, you might have experiences when you are 5 years old that leave an imprint on you that you carry with you for the rest of your life.
Right.
You may have gone through traumas, you may have had different experiences, and it's not always about trauma. Sometimes it's just simply like who you are, how you behave is very much determined by how you were parented and the environment in which you grew up
The
in,
the
and of course the
programming,
cultural
the
impact.
the
Yeah,
programming, right? That is being taught to you because that's all that your parents know as well. It's not their fault. That's what they know, right? Like
exactly.
you're going to
Very
teach your
much.
baby everything you know. I'm going to teach my daughter everything I know. They do with that what they want.
Exactly. And for a lot of people, there's a need to kind of, for example, if you had your child self went through something difficult, you can address that now in adulthood. You don't have to say, oh, it's in the past. I'll just have to move on. Like, no, you can actually now, in the present moment, hold space for your wounded 8-year-old self, or your wounded 12-year-old self, or your wounded 16-year-old self. Because for me, my inner child work goes up to 21 years old. And I've been doing this work for like 5 years before I moved to the farm. And yeah, so that's like the magic that I bring when I offer retreats. I do inner child therapy with people, which involves different things in nature and activities. And some of it's play, some of it's drawing, some of
Yeah.
it's like doing the things you loved as a child, remembering that you still can do those things.
Isn't that what they say always? It's like never lose that childlike kind of essence that we do forget or are taught not to behave that way because, you know, that's immature or you're going to look like a fool. And that really is the essence of happiness. Like a child will tell you when they're unhappy because it's going to start crying, when they're hungry, when they're, you know, when they are happy and you know, because
Mhm.
they're jumping off a table and that's the way that we should kind of all implement lives. Um, you talk in your content about iboga,
Hmm.
the plant medicine iboga, which from I learned it from watching your content that it's very prevalent in Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had someone on the podcast that has a retreat also that they host in Maryland for
Mhm.
ayahuasca, right? And it's kind of like a 3 day thing, and they do yoga and they pray and blah blah, and then they do the ceremony. So I'm very interested in finding out more information about that. And in speaking with different people, I read that you know, these psychedelics are very helpful for traumatic experiences perhaps that have happened to you in the past. It's helped a lot of veterans, right? Navy
Yeah.
SEALs that have
Yeah.
seen really ugly things take place, and it's traumatized them completely where they were suicidal, and this does something where it switches something in their brain structure, right?
Hmm.
Where they're able to cope with this trauma easier. You've tried iboga.
Hmm.
Can you share a little bit about that experience to help me better understand that, and if you know the difference between that and for an ayahuasca?
Yes, for sure. So psychedelics. Like I've just imagined like a rainbow coming through my hands, like psychedelics. Psychedelics are incredible because they are mind openers and they remove blockages. So,
Hmm.
especially when you've experienced any form of trauma or just like kind of like bottling things up, covering things, putting up walls, maybe you don't have the experience of like even knowing that you're allowed to express or to release the things that you've gone through or have witnessed. So psychedelics, what they do is because they open different channels within the brain, they allow us to finally release the blockages that were stopping us from really fully healing things, from really fully like letting it go or really
Hmm.
fully even processing it. Sometimes people black out memories from childhood because they were
Yeah,
so
they
traumatic.
were so
But
traumatic.
these
Yeah.
things kind of can open the floodgates for you to finally feel it so that you can let it go.
Isn't that dangerous though?
I think it's only going to be dangerous if you're dealing with someone who has a history of psychosis. So
Gotcha.
this is why when you do plant medicine or psychedelics with somebody, you always do intake. It's not necessarily for every single human being, but the majority of people can handle it because when it opens the floodgates, it allows space for you to cry, to feel, and like you also just, it's like you finally understand. You can finally be like, okay,
That's
now I
why.
know
That's why I feel this
why.
way. That's why I'm
Yes.
depressed. That's why
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So psychedelics are like, they're they're gateways to a deeper understanding of yourself and of the world. And when the world starts to make sense, you can get out of the space of being a victim. You can get out of this space of blaming whoever did what. And it's like it doesn't mean what they did wasn't bad or wrong or whatever. It's just like it liberates you. It
Mm-hmm.
helps you to see that, oh, but I am free. I don't have to be held back because I went through this experience. I don't have to still be hurt or sad or have low self-esteem because of what someone else, projected onto me. It really is liberating. So I utilize mushroom medicine a lot during my retreats. It has some similarities to iboga, but iboga is a tree that only grows in Central Africa and it's an extremely potent. I think I call it like the grandfather of
So
psychedelics.
it's stronger than ayahuasca?
So I haven't personally used ayahuasca, so I
Mm-hmm.
can't say if it's stronger or not. The stories I've heard about ayahuasca are very similar, but people call ayahuasca the grandmother, and I would say perhaps iboga is the grandfather. The difference too is iboga is just one plant. Ayahuasca is actually a mixture of I think two or three plants.
Okay.
So when they come together, they make this, but I don't have a personal experience of it, so I can't really speak too much on it besides what I've heard from others. Um,
How long
but
does iboga last in your system when you drink it, right? Like it's a drink?
no, no, it's not like ayahuasca is a tea. Iboga is a root and they grind it, so it's like a powder.
Oh, so you
So
smoke
you
it?
can put it in capsules. No, you can put it in
Mm-hmm.
capsules,
Mm-hmm.
or you can straight up eat it. It's very bitter. It tastes like medicine.
Yeah.
So it's nasty.
Okay.
But you can put it into capsules. It makes it a little easier, but you have to take a bunch of capsules for a full dose. So when you take a full dose, iboga can last 10 to 12 hours.
What?
It's
So this
extremely
is like
long.
this is like LSD back in the day.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's long like LSD. I think in what I've heard about ayahuasca, it doesn't last
It
as long.
doesn't. Exactly. That's everything that they've told me. It's like, 10, 15 minutes, if that.
Yeah,
So
no,
then,
iboga is a deep journey, and it's not like it's immediately onset strong. It takes you through a journey, and it's like the plant is intelligent. So once it gets into your body, it's like you feel it kind of moving through your body. It's very chill. Like when you take it, at least in my experience, and I also have served it to other people, like you're most of the time you're laying down and you're relaxing.
hmm
It's not like you want to get up and do stuff, or sometimes like with mushrooms, like you might want to paint or you might want to sing or dance. But with iboga, like you're chilling, you're really relaxed. And usually, like a big part of using iboga is also the music.
hmm
So then there's like some medicine music playing that's supporting you, making you feel safe and comfortable. You need to do it in a very comfortable, cozy space,
So
like
you are when you did that, you were in Kenya?
yeah, I did it in Kenya.
And did you have like a shaman that was there taking care of you, or is it
Yes,
just
I had a shaman taking care of me. I did a private ceremony. Some people do groups, but mine was just me and the shaman. So I had like he has like a ceremony room where I was. I took the medicine. There's like an altar with candles, there's music playing, and then you take the medicine and you're pretty relaxed. And with iboga, the most common kind of thing that happens is visions. So you see things. It's almost
hmm
like seeing like dreams. So I saw all sorts of beautiful things. I saw like, the earth, but from the view of space. And I saw
Yeah.
souls going into the earth and being recycled out. I saw like myself like in fields of flowers and different things. I saw my family members. I had and it's 3 days. So you take the medicine 3 days in a row.
hmm
And I had one day where I had like a really deep experience thinking about my mom. And it was like I could sometimes we've had some hardships in our relationship,
hmm
and it was like I cried so much for my mom because it was like the stuff she's never told me, it was like I could see it and I
Oh.
could understand like more of what she's been through and why she did certain things. And there's times where I've been hard on her about certain things. I felt like she could have done better as a mom. And I finally let that go. I was like, oh my God, now I get what she was actually going through.
So it
And I
helps
just
you, it almost
cried.
it almost like helps you elevate your empathy and compassion for others, right?
For sure. Like, just like I said before, deep understanding, not just understanding myself, but understanding others to the point of like really reaching a state of true compassion.
Hmm.
Really not being jaded anymore. Like I can't even be mad at nobody for anything because like I get it. Everybody's doing what they're doing from
Everybody's
their own
hurting.
understanding.
Everybody's hurting. Everybody's in pain, and everybody is, they're not intentionally hurting you. That's something that's broken within them, and they're just projecting it on you because what are you going to do? You're going to keep beating yourself up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the sad
Totally.
reality of the world that we live in. With your retreats where you practice some form of mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
um, how is that experience with that? Is it's not as intense as iboga or ayahuasca? How long of a period are you kind of like in that trance when you're doing that? I've tried micro dosing on
Mm-hmm.
mushrooms for anxiety. It was recommended to me by a friend, and it doesn't do anything to me other than kind of like relax me, right? But I'm still able to focus. I can drive, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't feel inhibited in any way when I'm microdosing. I only take one little pill and
Yeah.
it really helped me through a transition that I was going through. But I would I'm open to all of this because I do
Yeah.
believe that it helps. I do think that you get those answers, once the student is ready, the teacher will appear kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love to hear that you've had the experience with microdosing. I recommend that to a lot of people, and I've used it myself for
Mm-hmm.
different things. It's not something you have to do forever either. Like it really serves a purpose, and then you don't, it's not like a pharmaceutical where it's like take this every day for the rest of your life for your
and
anxiety.
and I would take it as needed when I felt that I needed it, and as soon as like I felt better, I stopped, and there wasn't that I guess like addiction that develops, for example, when you take an SSRI, antidepressant
Yeah. Yeah.
medication, where they tell you you have to wean off it for 2 weeks because if not, you're gonna, kind of like go crazy. I never had any of those experiences.
Right.
I literally was like, I feel better. I'm not gonna take it anymore,
Hmm.
and I was fine. I felt kind of like more chill, you know?
Totally. And what we call these are plant allies because they're coming from nature.
Yeah.
They are allies or friends that can support us and support our gut, support our nervous system. So I highly recommend them, especially microdosing. I think
Mm-hmm.
it even can sometimes be more effective. Going into ceremony, I don't recommend for everybody because, like I mentioned, it also depends on like their history of mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And
So
if they're doing any drugs as well, I would imagine that that's going to play a
yes.
key role also in whatever you're going to experience when you're on the medication.
That's true. Although they can sometimes be helpful for people who are trying to stop using drugs. In fact, Iboga was popularized because it's very commonly used to help people who have had heroin addiction.
Yes, I saw
It
that. I
helps
saw that.
people to like let go of heroin. So in some cases, but you need to work with a practitioner, right? Like
Mhm.
somebody
Yeah,
who's experienced, who knows the medicine,
of
who can
course.
help you figure out a dose. But when I use them in ceremony in retreats, and I don't do them every single retreat, but it depends on the person if it seems needed. Um, Basically, it lasts also several hours. I would say 4 to 6 hours. So not as long as Iboga, but it is kind of like a journey, but it's similar as far as like it's not like as soon as you take it, you're like seeing things, like it's actually
Is it like
slow.
smoking? Is it like smoking marijuana?
No, I think marijuana starts to affect you right away. I think with marijuana, after you hit it a couple of times, you feel it in your system.
But I'm
Um,
saying the effects that you feel with marijuana, right? Where you can
um,
kind of like go into a trance and kind
It
of
has some similarities. It has some similarities, and marijuana is also called an entheogen, so it's a type of psychedelic, but it's much more light.
hmm.
So with and some people do have psychedelic experiences on like using ganja, where they have these deeply awakening experiences
Yeah.
from that herb. So I think in some cases it can be similar. For me, mushrooms, one of the most common things is like they bring out a sense of joy. It's very common with when you do mushroom ceremonies that people start to giggle or laugh. And it's like there's so much positive energy with them. In my
Mm-hmm.
experience with people, especially like, like I'm saying, sometimes you might reflect on something from childhood, but it's like something, even something that was so difficult for you to process as a child, you'll think about it and you'll just start laughing and be like, it
Yeah,
was never that serious.
right.
I was okay. I'm okay now. I can
Yeah,
let it go. So it's got this, sense of positivity. Some people I have sat with mushrooms kind of go the opposite and they get sad because they realize something that they've been blocking.
right,
And
right.
like I
Because it's
said,
going to
it
bring that
opens
out
the
as well.
floodgates. And they're like, I never processed how I felt about this. And I'm actually really sad about it. And, sometimes I have to hold people like babies,
Yeah,
and hold space for them. But always, always after the experience, there's this deep sense of like, okay, I finally released. I feel like I saw and understood things that I wasn't able to reach without this plant support. So that's pretty much how it goes for me.
I've read about people also taking cocoa,
Cacao.
cacao,
Hmm.
cacao. Yeah.
Yes, I actually use cacao with the mushrooms. So we either do a tea of cacao with mushrooms in it, or even a chocolate bar made of fresh cacao with mushrooms. Because cacao, in its purest form, this is where chocolate comes from, but in its
Uh-huh.
purest form, it's actually really good for your blood and for your heart, like
Okay.
physically, and also even spiritually, it opens the heart. So it helps you to like, some people kind of like get these, they put this protection over their heart because they've been hurt before.
Yeah.
Open, open, relax. It's safe. You are safe here. You're safe to love and be loved. And for some people, it's really tender, and that's why some people cry a lot. But for
Mm-hmm.
other people, it's like so liberating, and that's where they laugh and they're like happy. They just want to dance. They're like, I'm finally free. So I use cacao with it as well.
So how can people, our viewers, find out more information about who Deja is, the retreats that you're hosting, the one that's coming up now in the month of November, if they need any help with relocating to another country and buying some land off the
Yes.
coast of Costa Rica, like how can people reach you?
Yes. So I have an Instagram for my business, which is I hope you find serenity. That's
Mm-hmm.
how you found me too, I believe, on
Yep, on
TikTok. I hope
TikTok.
you find serenity.
Yes, ma'am.
And also my website has been down for maintenance, but it should be up actually in the next few days. I'm not sure when you post this, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll be up this month, August, and it's I hope you find serenity.com.
Okay, perfect.
So, in the meantime, if the website's not up yet, they can find me on social media, but the website will be up in a few days.
And that's also your email, correct? I hope you find serenity at gmail.com.
Yes. So it's I
Right.
hope you find serenity everywhere.
That's it. That's how
Even
you
on
find
YouTube, I
Deja.
hope you find serenity.
Yeah. So let's close this out. What advice do you have for those of us that are seeking peace and freedom, but are we have responsibilities. We have children, we have jobs, we have mortgages, and
Yeah.
we all think about it like I know that I started to kind of downsize and
Hmm.
um try to facilitate my life a little bit more the older that I'm getting. And it's scary and it's hard to kind of, relocate and completely adjust your life to something that we don't even know. So
Right.
how do we do it? What's the best
Beautiful.
advice that you can give us?
Yes, beautiful and so understood because the thing is the answer is not necessarily drop everything and move to Costa Rica like I did.
Yeah,
Because peace starts within.
right.
So even within the life that you are living, finding those moments of peace, finding the things that bring you peace and prioritizing them and not letting them fall to the wayside. Like if spending a little bit of time outside with a tree makes you feel good, find a way to integrate that into your current routine. Also, finding gratitude because no matter how we're living, there's always something to be grateful for.
100%.
So, again, prioritize being grateful. Accept your life for what it is because you're choosing your life. So, don't think that you're doing it wrong because somebody else is doing this and somebody else is doing that. We all have to do different things to create the diverse, beautiful tapestry that is this earth and this life. So whatever you're choosing, stand by that and say, I'm choosing this because this is what's best for me and love it. Love yourself, love your life, love the people around you and find some sense of joy and acceptance in what you are doing and
Yeah.
being here and now.
One of the greatest enemies that I think that we all have is the enemy of comparison to others, right?
Right.
Why does she have a farm in Costa Rica and I don't? And I have to and I have to live in the big city, right? Like why is is married in this beautiful mansion? Whatever it is that people are so fakely projecting on social media these days, because
Yeah.
none of it is true. None of it is true.
Everyone's going through something. It doesn't matter how their life looks. I look at other people's lives and think, that's amazing. You actually have your shit together. Like, I wish I had half of myself together the way you do.
Right?
And then
I
they're
say,
looking at me like, I want to be like you. And it's like,
yeah.
let's just all be like accepting of what we have and know that we have many blessings.
Just being present, right? And like you said, finding gratitude in that daily presence, right? Because that's
Mhm.
all we have. The past already happened. The future, we don't even know what's going to happen. So let's
Right?
let's just enjoy the moment. So anyway, Teja, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. This has been so peaceful, like speaking with you, really just like following your story on social media. Again, I'll go ahead and at the end, when I post this on YouTube, I'm going to add all of your contact information with your website and all of your social media platforms, so that anyone that's looking to reach you can. But thank you so much for speaking with me. I also want to thank all of you for watching this amazing episode on the Bear Experiment podcast. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and hitting the notification bell so that you never miss an amazing guest. So I hope
Lovely.
you have a great rest of your day. Good luck with your baby girl.
Thank you. Thank you. It was such a pleasure to meet you, Monica.
Likewise, honey. We'll keep in touch, okay? Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.